All right, guys, another day, another 1v1 match, and another time for us just to talk. Today I went to the gym. It's a Saturday. Gym crowd was cool, man, busy. And I am day 3 of my cold approach challenge, where for 50 days in a row, I'm going to go up to someone and just cold approach, talk to them, spark a conversation. Yesterday, we talked to a girl that was at my apartment complex's gym. It was just a kind of a boring conversation about if she liked the apartment complex, if she lived anywhere else in the area, etc., etc. And it just was whatever. This one was a more fun conversation. It was actually in the sauna of the gym today with this guy that I've seen a long time in the gym. Like every time I'm in there, there's always like a cast of characters that you see for when you're in the gym. It might be the same 7 guys over and over, and he's one of them. So I just was like, man, you're always in here. You live in the gym, huh? And we had a nice little conversation, learned about each other. His name is David, so shout out to David. But before he entered the gym, I'm sitting there in the sauna, sweating my ass off, obviously, and just looking at the little timer. There's a little sand timer on the wall that I turned to signify 20 minutes, because I didn't have my phone in there. Some people bring their phones in the sauna. That's terrible for your phone battery, first off, because of how hot it is in there. Second off, get off your phones for 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, dude, everyone has their headphones in the sauna, and everyone's just sitting there watching Instagram reels in the sauna. Now, the people that bring a book in there, like, that's fine. That's fine, sure. But even like if you're reading on your phone, I guess sure, but like, man, dude, let's get off our phones for 10 seconds in this life. You know what I mean? Um Regardless, I'm watching sand just pour out of one end down to the other. And I'm watching this and I'm looking at it, and a Bible verse. I like to incorporate one Bible verse episode into this. Um and It was, what is your life? I had to look it up. I'm not perfect. I look up these Bible verses just so you know, um, so that I can give you guys the address of the Bible verse. It was James 4:14. What is your life? For it is a vapor that is here. I'm paraphrasing it again. That is here for a moment and then vanisheth away. That's kind of a mix between a few translations there. Um, and I'm watching this sand fall, man. And this grain of sand that's sitting in this, container, its whole purpose in life is to just fall back and forth and signify time for us, And obviously, it's not a living being, sand. And I'm not trying to get all hippy dippy and say like, well, it's matter, it's part of the universe. We're just like the sand. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I just kind of thought about like a Black Mirror situation where what if I was one of those grain pieces of sand? You know what I mean? Like Black Mirror will sometimes have that happen where like someone's consciousness gets uploaded into like an alarm clock, and that's their whole purpose for thousands of years is to be an alarm clock. Same thing with this piece of sand, and it just made me realize, man, like that sand's gonna be there hundreds of years after I'm dead. You know, that sand will be there hundreds of years after I'm dead, if not thousands, you know? And what are we doing with our lives? Are we sitting in a sauna watching Instagram reels with our headphones in? Or are we trying to talk to people like I talked to my boy David today? I'm not saying you got to go out and make every single moment of your life count, man. There has to be a nice little balance of, you know, being productive, making things happen, and then chilling. There needs to be balance of relaxation is actually an important thing, man. You can't exercise the same muscle every single day and expect growth because that muscle is just going to keep getting damaged. When you exercise it, you're actually doing micro tears. I'm sure you've heard this before, and you're damaging the muscle and you're trying to make it grow back stronger and bigger, and that's how you build up muscle. But if you worked out, if I benched every single day, you're really going to plateau very quickly and you're not going to progress anymore, because you're just going to be kind of, it's the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. And so, what are you doing with your life? Are you having a nice balance? Are you being productive but then enjoying your time? Like I come back from the gym, I'm going to play Rocket League, I'm going to make a YouTube video. That's to some people is not productive at all. I should be out mowing lawns, getting some cash, investing in stocks. That's one extreme of the thing. The other thing is why are you going to the gym? Just enjoy hanging out at the house and play Rocket League. So there's two different extremes. What are you doing with your life? One sermon that I remember from middle school, and it might be the only one of the only sermons I ever remembered from middle school is our pastor took us to a graveyard, and he showed us these gravestones, right? And he showed like this person lived from 1912 to 1970, and we see that their birth date was 1912, right? That's the year they were born. And we also see that their birth year was 19 or their death year was 1970. That's when we know that they died. But what else is on this gravestone? Obviously their name, but there's a little dash. 1912 dash 1970. What are you doing with that dash? You know, and so while I'm sitting there in the sauna watching this sand fall and sweating my ass off and then talking to David, well, this kind of sparked the whole thing of talking to David. Obviously, I'm already on my mission of cold approaching, and I'm now 3 days into my cold approach era. I shouldn't. That sounded so white girl. I am sorry for saying that, guys. I did not mean to say that. I work with a bunch of white girls, so sometimes it just comes out. Um, what do you do? Or I am in my cold approach challenge and I'm enjoying it. It makes you kind of feel anxious, makes you kind of feel sick, but the Bible talks about that too, man. Be anxious in nothing, but in everything through prayer and supplications. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Let your request be made known unto God. And I'm telling God right now, man, you know what I want to do? I want to learn how to just talk to people and get out of this technology era that we're in. And see, that's the correct use of era right there. I It's not Taylor Swift kind of era. It's like actual era. So, anyways, we're kind of wrapping up this game. We might go to overtime actually because this guy just hit a clip on me. So I guess we have more time to talk, y'all. We got 14 seconds. I'm gonna challenge you guys. I feel like 2026, and I've said this in other episodes, has just been a really good year of growth for me, and I'm not even just saying that to say it. I feel like, I feel like 2026, I've really grown physically. I feel like I've put my body in a really good shape mentally. Um, oh, oh, I'll say thanks. That was nice of him, man. He knows that I'm filming. He's probably a subscriber. He's one of the 9 of you guys out there, and he wants more of our talks. And I'm gonna eventually switch this series from trying to be all philosophy driven, and I'm gonna try to make it a little more like, hey, we'll rant about some. Oh, you know what? And he left. We're gonna rant about pet peeves, whatever. We're gonna just make it a talking series, but I just want to come on here and yap, basically. I do that when I hop on with my friends, so this is kind of the DLC where they can hear my thoughts. But that's all I got for you guys today. We're now 1 and 2 in this series. I did record an episode yesterday, and I just haven't published it because it wasn't the strongest. It wasn't a good conversation. Today feels a lot better, so we'll publish this one. So we're 1 and 2 in published Rocket League matches. We were 2 and 2 because I did win yesterday, but or I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one.